They say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but that is nonsense. For 2024, SsangYong is rebranding as KGM in the UK and across Europe. And they're doing it at an incredible time when they're launching this, the all-new Torres. And it's a landmark car for so many reasons, bringing KGM right up to the bar in terms of competitiveness with other manufacturers. I want to tell you what it's all about and why it's incredible value. It's Torres Day, quite excited to say the least. Now, I've always been impressed with SsangYong's previous releases. They've always delivered what they promised, which is filling that middle ground, giving people really good value for money. But they've always been, not always, but there's sometimes been things, very tiny little things, that are not quite up to scratch with competitors. Maybe that's a bit of tech, or perhaps something silly like the ride quality is not quite the same. It's just not been there. But I have to say, gang, that all stops with the Torres. I am so impressed with this vehicle. It feels solid. It feels 2024 in so many ways, and I think you guys are gonna love it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep this video nice and short and snappy. I'm going to give you 5 reasons why I think this car is great. I'm going to take it for a test drive. I'm going to do my usual MPG test as well, because it has got a new Gen 3 gearbox, which I'm dying to tell you all about and test. And then I'm going to tell you why it's great value for money and some of the deals you can get it with. So stick with me and we'll get cracking.
So what is the Torres? Well, it's a large SUV that joins a very large SUV market, which is designed basically for anyone that wants a lot of space and decent value. So everyone, basically. It's bigger and cheaper than the majority of its competition, which basically, in my opinion, gives it a leg up over all of these. A great start for Torres. It's available in 3 specs, a bit like this K40 two-wheel drive that I'm flailing next to here. And in a bid to stop you getting too bored, I'm going to simply click my fingers and make the specs appear, pause them if you require. I'm then going to do exactly the same whilst trying not to get too damp next to this K30. The only thing to note is that the K40 is the only car that's available as a 4-wheel drive if you wanted to. So with that in mind, let's move straight on. The first of my 5 reasons why this car is great.
So, reason number 1, did I mention it's good looking? I mean, it is great from virtually every angle I look. But this front bumper and this bonnet and the lights, it is absolutely beautiful. I mean, there are shades of other cars in here, like perhaps a Grand Cherokee or a little bit of Range Rover towards the top end, and especially the back end. If you walk around this side, I think it looks quite Land Rover Discovery at this back end with this kind of bit here, or perhaps a new Defender. But man, what a beautiful looking car. It really is great looking. I mean, we can all admit that SsangYong in the past has made some questionable design choices perhaps, but this just isn't present here. This is the most European car I've ever seen them produce, and it is absolutely gorgeous in every detail. Right from the moment you open the door, gang, you're greeted with what I would describe as European class. You've got this lovely kind of copper coloured trim which runs down the door card, and I don't know if this is fake leather or real leather, but it feels really nice to the touch. It's soft. And then again you get this mood light, which I don't know if you'll see in this light here, but mood light that runs down this nice bit of trim, which again feels lovely to the touch. And then you start to see this kind of pyramid theme. Now the pyramid theme, if I move to the driver's seat, is here too. So at the top of the seat you can start to see it, along again with that fantastic copper coloured stitching. And then if I actually hop into the car, we'll get to the big hitters. Look at this dashboard. I'm going to try and get a wide shot for you. Oh my goodness, it is gorgeous. So you've got these dual panoramic 12.3 inch screens. You've got this kind of floating center console, which We've got obviously a wireless charging port in here as well, but the general sense, you're looking out over the car, those lovely tie down points on the bonnet, it feels like a different world to anything else that Sanyong had produced before. So, you know, absolutely gorgeous. Let's move on. As you might expect, the quality does not end in the back either, and size-wise, again, is phenomenal. But just while we're here at the door, hello, keep those kiddies cool. You have a nice recoil blind built into this car. And if I hop in, now you have to excuse my junk which is in here for doing my film in here. If I hop in, now the car is set up for myself, and I'm 6 foot tall, so that driver's seat is set up there. But if I look in front of my knees now, look at that, it's huge. I would say that is a good 8 inches, 6 inches there in front of my knees. 15 centimeters, 20 centimeters for all you metric lovers. But absolutely masses of room. You've also got heated rear seats as well in the K40 model. And you don't skimp on the style either. You've still got that lovely copper trim and the pattern throughout the seats. It looks absolutely brilliant. So I told you it was big, but look, I can sit in here like a little cat pointlessly, but it's big. Come on in. Now, I'm not joking about it being big, and I'm not saying it's big in an unwieldy sense. I'm saying it's big in capacity, in terms of load space and in terms of passenger space. You just get an idea here of exactly how much space you've got. Now, with the seats in the upright position, I believe it's 769 litres, which is class leading. So we're bigger than things like the RAV4 and the X-Trail, putting it nearly on par with the Rexton, which is phenomenal considering. And you've also got extra space underneath for your inflation kit and tooling and things like that. And you've also got your recoil parcel shelf, which fits under there, so you don't have to have that gathering dust in your garage if you want that extra space. Right, so what's it actually like to drive? Well, let's hop in, close the door, and get cracking, shall we? Let's do it. So, here's old, I don't know if you can see in the mirror there, yeah, Tom has become Daniel's son with my cool Tom cam, so just try and ignore that if you see it in the mirror, but it gives you a great point of view of the drive we're about to do. So one of the other big reasons, just while we're in here doing this, is the tech. I mean, I've already mentioned you've got your wireless phone charger down here, but you've also got this fantastic screen setup. And I know it's only silly little things, but I love the font, I love the contrast, I love the UI. It is so much more grown up, so much more 2024, and I think little things like that, the sum of its parts make it what it is. So another fantastic reason. But I mean, I'm only touching on the tech there, but when we get on drive, I will actually show you it has got finally adaptive cruise on an internal combustion KGM model. Really excited to test that and show you that as well. So let's get cracking and have a drive. Oh, and as per usual, I'm going to be resetting the trip meter. So if I press the little button here, there we go, hear the beep, and if I press the button here to start, away we go. Let's do this. Now, just as I move off, the absolute first impression that you get is it just feels really solid. I know that's a silly thing to say in a video review, but you know, I've driven cars, I've been in the motor trade for 25 years, and this car, it gives that feel of quality. And that is, again, I say, even coming out of my mouth, it sounds silly to tell you that, but I implore you to try this vehicle. Moving over these speed bumps, I think it's an opportune moment to tell you another big reason for this vehicle being great. Now, this is one of KGM's first vehicles that features multi-link suspension. Now, multi-link suspension is usually reserved for luxury vehicles and some of the big hitters that you might have been in before, either your Volkswagens, your Lexuses, that kind of thing. But just going over these speed bumps as we leave this lovely location here, it just feels really cosseted. You're not getting any crash, you're not getting any unwanted roll or you know, anything at all that would upset a quality ride. So it is absolutely fantastic. Naturally, as soon as we get going a bit quicker, I'll give you my my view on what it feels like on a slightly faster road, but thus far, very, very nice indeed. Dual carriageway cruise. I'm really happy with the way that the car drives. Very, very smooth, very sure-footed it feels, and it just feels nice to be here. I mean, I love looking over at these tie-down points either side on the bonnet. It just gives you a feel that you are in something a little bit special, and you know, again, harking back to some of its parts, I think that's what's important here. It is a very, very nice car combined. And when you're driving it, you look in that rear view mirror and it really, you know, it's a long way back, it's a long car, loads of space, but it doesn't feel like it on the road. You know, it has the manners of something a lot tauter, a lot easier to drive. So, you know, it's winning a lot of points. It's a great drive. Now, the car is powered by KGM's proven 1.5 turbo petrol, but critically, this car now has a 3rd generation ASIN gearbox. So we've got our paddle shifters behind the wheel, but I'm told that this is a lot more efficient. So as per normal with my testing, I feel another big reason to get hold of this car is it's much more efficient than some of the older models like the Corando, for example, that shares the same engine. So I'm going to be really interested, and I'm going to hop into looking at the efficiency here, exactly what we get from the drive down. So a little bit of dual carriageway at the moment, we're doing 50 miles an hour, and we're going to see what we get when we get back to base. So I've just got the adaptive cruise activated now, gang. So I've just got the button on the wheel, as I said, and I can go and on the fly, like you can, of course, change the range. It gives you a lovely little graphic there. And critically, compared to some of the others that I've driven, this is not jerky, it's not obtrusive. As you can see, we're just slowing down now. You see the speed dropping off as this car in front slows. It's just really controlled, really lovely. It's just telling me to put my hands back on the wheel. Sorry, Torres. I'm thoroughly impressed, chaps. I really think that this is the game changer that KGM not necessarily needed, but this is going to make KGM a household brand name. It's going to be a vehicle which really makes you sit up and look at what they have to offer. I'm very, very impressed indeed. Right guys, so here we are back at base, and I don't know if you can see that, but we've achieved 38.2 to the gallon. Now, to put that in context, this car, don't forget, is nearly the size of a Rexton with a petrol engine. So to get 38.2 to the gallon is a phenomenal result. So again, big reason, efficiency. That Gen 3 gearbox doing the business. So what an incredible way to start 2024 with an amazing model launch. We are in love with this thing, and I think you guys need to get down here right away and check this out. Now, in part 2 of this video review, I'm going to give you the latest update from KGM/Sanyong and tell you all about the value for money aspect and how to get not only this car but the rest of the range as well, because in the transition from Sanyong to KGM, they have not lost that value aspect, and it is so important. So I'm going to tell you about some quality PCPs that you can get on this vehicle, some HP agreements. I'm going to tell you about some crazy ways that you can buy any of the models in the range, not just the Torres, and get anything for half price. Well, kind of, but check it out in the second half of the review and we'll see you there.